So there's that. Now, there is one final thing I wanted to bring up because I saw this just before. It's a Reddit post by, I'll just get their username here, by the Tanzanite, who, I'll just read it out for people. So, all those second screeners. Hello, recently I've been wondering if Legion was really the expansion most claimed to be, or if we're all just inebriated by nostalgia. So I decided to go through Wowhead's item model database and gather how many item assets per slot were added to on each expansion since Mob. Besides being a result of extreme procrastination, I'm also doing that because I'm noticing most of the newer systems are relying on non-visible gear slots such as Heart of Azeroth Necklace, Shard of Domination Gems, Legendary Powers for Recipes, and Corruption/Azerite Powers, so it could be indicative of multiple things. Blizzard managed to reallocate Warlords of Draenor's budget to Legion and or move WoD development assets to Legion. The Legion's budget was way over the top, so Blizzard suffered a sort of pushback whenever it came to BFA and we didn't have as much, or that WoW's budget is indeed decreasing after Legion. He says it could be one, could be all, could be something entirely unknown to us. And I think what we really want to get into then is the data that was found here. It's quite interesting. So overall, total number of unique items, 8,332, 7,500, so smaller from Mob to WoD, which makes sense. WoD was a smaller expansion in terms of patches. Then into Legion, which had 11,316. Then BFA with 8,124. And then Shadowlands so far is 5,044. Now that said, I mean, my Covenant set has been mildly retinted multiple times and then given back to me as a new bit of gear. So, yeah. There's always that thing of like how different is the gear that you're getting. I mean, you look at the specifics, then there's some mounts, right? It's like Mop 111, WoD 77, Warlords of Paymore, Legion 130, BFA 173, Shadowlands 144. So far, there's like 44 mounts came in the most recent patch, and a lot of those were, reskins, recolors, that kind of thing. And that's actually the interesting thing with the Shadowlands expansion. Like, they put in a whole bunch of mounts. People were like, yeah, but we're kind of bored of the way you're doing them. So, which was interesting. It's like the amounts that people were interested in were the more like big, unique ones.
Yeah.
Like the Golden Charger or, or something like that. But I don't know, man. I just thought it was interesting. Certainly, you look at a lot of these in Legion and you're like, oh yeah, tier sets. I mean, shoulders are part of tier. We went from, it was 11,086 to 703. And it's that thing where Blizzard, they kind of tried to sell us on moving from tier sets with unique art per class down to them being, based on the, the armor type.
Yeah.
They kind of try to sell that to us as like, look, it'll be less there so we can do more overall. And that never happened.
By the numbers, that never happened.
By the numbers, it didn't happen. And there's a bunch of people then wondering, does that mean WoW's got a smaller art budget? I don't know. I say this, it feels like it does. It does feel like it does as a player. I'm not saying that's the reason why, but it does feel that way.
Maintenance mode, KEKW.
Yeah, I mean, putting WoW in maintenance mode is the most insane thing in the universe to do. I kind of doubt. $1
billion IP, and we're not giving them any budget to make any of their games anymore. We'll just wait on the 2 mobile games to come out and do well, I guess, question mark.
It's just interesting. Interesting in shirts.
39 shirts in BFA, what the fuck?
Big win. That's where it all went.
That's where the budget went, yeah. Budget in these shirts. Fantastic.
I mean, at least in BFA, more weapons.
Yeah.
Just hardly a surprise given how they worked there. But I think
like that's a lot of weapons for them being artifacts.
People probably cared a bit more about the artifact ones just because of the tint, customization and stuff. But I don't know really what the take here is, other than it's obvious that in Legion there's a bunch of collection content that people really enjoyed, and that's kind of happened less and less as these expansions have went on.
Yeah, I feel like there's probably a bunch of, like, my general take on this is that I think there's a lot of internal changes that we have not seen. I think there might have been like significant staffing changes or significant pipeline changes or content changes, or even some directional changes that impact this that we don't see. So I can't say any external factors.
Yeah.
So I imagine it's a matter of something's changed internally and it's resulted in this. Be that budget, be that processes, who knows? But I hope they can get back to some of those mop or Legion numbers. Like,
Yeah, totally. I don't know why. See, I don't know, does anyone, if we go into the comments, I guess the thing with Legion then is they did cut WoD early, and you know I heard that Legion had more pre-production like any WoW expansion. So you know maybe that is the case. Yeah. It's sort of hard to say.
This is the kind of thing that I have in my head. It's like, you know, go back in time. The last big expansion that people really rallied behind and stayed behind was Legion.
Yeah. So
to recreate the success that was Legion, like literally just make Legion again now. Like look at this. Look at like 7.3. Can we just have an expansion that's 7.3? Just off the bat, 7.3. I don't give a shit if it takes you like a year and a half to make it or 2 years to make it. Just go do it. And it's like, we can't. It's like, well, you've got all the fucking money in the world. Why not?
It's like, you're the developers. There are people who can.
Yeah. It's like, we can't. Why? It's like, what's the problem? Money. You've got money. What's the problem? Resources. Yeah, you've got the money. Get the resources. We can't use the resources effectively. Get someone who can. I hate feeling that way, where it's literally just, you've got the money. Go solve the problem.
Yeah.
Like you're a business. That's what businesses do with money. It's like, well, this content pipeline isn't working. We'll fix it. Like, I don't get it. But, man.
Yeah.
I miss the class halls so bad.
Oh, me too. Yeah,
I miss them so bad.
Big. Hopefully they improve that problem. I don't really know exactly how, other than, you know, make more shit that people actually want and stuff. But
yeah,
it's like, it's just so hard to know exactly why this is this. Is it that Shadowlands had lots of customizations? Is it, you know, the team working on future content instead of current content?
Yeah, it's like, I'd love
if we don't know.
I'd love to see time for time numbers, because like I'd love to see what that number looked like for 9.0. Sorry, 7.0.
Oh yeah.
Because like, well, it depends, because you can imagine they won't explode that high, because obviously, as an example, like BFA added. What the fuck did it add? Mechagon, Nashatar, and Mechagon, Nashatar, and Nihilitha assets.
Yeah.
So that can't have been too much extra compared to the pretty expansive zones that are already there. So they must have done most of the work first for the expansion. Kind of the same with Legion. I suppose they did a decent amount of work in 7.3, but it's not like 7.1 or 7.2 had massive amounts of new assets. Yeah. So I'd love to see the comparison. What did they use?
Well, it's just methodology-wise, so some of your issues there. Yeah. It doesn't account for unique 3D models, as it's impossible to filter those. It doesn't filter out recolors. Shadowlands, of course, will have less because of quantity of time. So, not perfect, but there is just interesting stuff there, and I think it does line up with some player criticisms. I think a part of it too, just other than numbers, because it's very easy to inflate these numbers with recolors and stuff. I think what it was about Legion is it was the stuff that the people cared about. So there was class tier, and then there was a framework for understanding the cosmetics you could get and what you would need to do to get them. Yeah. That was granted via the artifact weapon system, and that worked quite well. So I think that's basically that. Basically that.